Welcome to a captivating discussion, where Mike sits down with none other than Geoff Lawton, a globally recognized permaculture consultant, designer, and teacher. Geoff's extensive expertise and experience in off-grid living span an impressive 2 decades, making him a true authority in the field. In this captivating conversation, Geoff takes us on a captivating journey into his world of off-grid living. He opens up about his personal experiences, revealing the challenges he faced, and the invaluable lessons he learned along the way. From harnessing the power of solar energy, to maximizing self-sufficiency through innovative design, Geoff shares practical tips and insights that will empower you to embrace a more sustainable lifestyle. If you want to join the conversation and become part of the tribe community, visit theoffgridtribe.com. Prepare to be captivated by Geoff's tales of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering commitment to living in harmony with nature. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and entertained as we explore the transformative power of permaculture and the remarkable journey of living life off-grid.
Hi guys, Mike Hayden here, and I'm here with Geoff Lawton. 6 or 7 years ago I came up here to Zaytuna Farm and did a permaculture design course. Before that I was doing a few different things and playing with a caravan and motorhome solar. And one thing that really stuck out for me after doing the course, it was Geoff talked about going back home and taking that leap of faith and really going into a permaculture type business. So yeah, after spending 14 days here with the guys, and I went back and did that, and it was all Geoff's fault that I went back and took that leap of faith and started a new direction in life. So Geoff, how long have you lived off grid for?
It's been 20 years since I've lived on the grid, so it's quite a while.
So Geoff, what are some of the things you've learnt in the 20 years of being off grid?
I think the fact the sun only shines in the middle of the day, there's no charge at night. So there's this solar alignment that you get to realise that sun up there is the major power station. And you think about what you do during the day and you think about what you do at night. I think that's a big thing. And then over the 20 years, there's been more and more lithium batteries arrive with my students with laptops and phones, and they're continuously expecting that to be available to charge. And people generally don't realise that you've got to think about daylight and nighttime, and when really the free energy arrives. I think that's a big thing. And the other thing is you get to realise which appliances you take for granted are on all the time, like refrigerators and freezers, and there isn't a lot else that you really need. That's the one thing that, what's on all the time is very relevant, that's efficient. And the other thing is you can have something that comes up with a big hit of electricity, like a coffee machine, which I've got, but it's only on quick, right? So you can get away with that, but you still got to think about it when you do it. So that's it. And tied into that is, of course, what kind of day is it? Like, how much sun is there? Is it partial cloud, full cloud? It makes a difference. So it should make a difference. It makes us pay attention. We should be paying attention to the world.
So what's some of the worst experiences you've had living off grid in the 20 years?
Oh, it's really, because we have an institute and we have students coming without experience of living on the grid, having to explain to people these things that, we don't use the large washing machine outside of 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And now we transfer a lot of information because we do a lot of films, having to keep long-term downloads running, and realizing we just have to know what's available, how much storage is there. So, what's the failure of some of the poorer battery systems, I suppose, is a big one. And it's been great getting onto really solid battery systems that are large enough to give us the storage we need. and we are totally standalone. But otherwise, not much. Once you tune into it and you get it, it's not difficult. But we live a permaculture life, so we are in touch with the reality around us. What we do is, we're responsible for supplying as much of our needs as possible. So we kind of tune into it. But I think that's a great lesson for everybody. We should all be tuned into the responsibility of how much energy we require. And so I think it's a very valuable thing for people to live this way anyway.
Yeah. It comes to the whole knowledge is power, but only knowledge is power only if it's implemented. So the education process, if implemented, can really make a difference.
Yeah, you get the information, but if you don't act on it, it doesn't make any difference.
Yep.
You're still part of the problem.
Yep.
But when you realise what part of your life may have been the problem, you can change. And so, well, at least you've got a chance now to actually be part of the solution.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you were, for someone designing an off-grid house in the bush, what sort of tips would you give them about designing a system?
I would say design a system that suits your average lifestyle, like what you normally use, and be prepared to supply the surplus only occasionally. So if you're going to have a big party, right, well, run a generator or have a grid switch if you are connected. But if you're not connected, I think it's easier to actually then say, well, I'll use a generator only when I have to, right? Because it's not a lot of extra. You might have a workshop and now and again, you might want to use an angle grinder and weld and use these big power tools. But unless you're doing that all the time, you don't need a system that has that potential all the time. So, why not then use a backup? Because most of the time we find that, just work out what it is you need to use all the time. That's absolutely essential to your lifestyle. And those other occasions when you need a lot of power, use something else. Use a generator or connect to the grid just at that time on a switch.
So what about someone that was living in, I took my house off grid in the middle of Sydney, and my biggest problem is I didn't have enough roof space. So someone, that lives in suburbia that wants to take their house off grid, what tips would you give them and recommend them?
Right. Well, if you haven't got enough roof space and you haven't got enough panels, you having a larger battery bank could give you storage on after the good days, but it's not necessary. It's going to run down if you have a lot of bad cloudy days. That's the thing. But then it's change your lifestyle a bit. Change your appliances, definitely. Have a good look at your appliances, and check out where else you can save energy. Is it if you just want to be more part of the solution, growing your own food is going to save you a lot of energy, of course. Catching your own water and reducing your transport costs. Generally look at that in the big picture. With the grid switch, there are ways that you can look at when you're off peak and you've got less energy costs when the grid's on. Think about when you switch the grid on and have that option to switch on and off. And also look at all the energy demands of your house. Have you got a house that's really well insulated? That can you reduce its need to heat itself and cool itself? Insulation will do that. Can you be more passive solar? Do you need to switch the lights on, or can you have more natural sunlight? Think about all those things that reduce your energy cost. A lot of it can just come down to design. Can you retrofit your house to have less energy demand? Yep.
Yeah, definitely that design. If someone get the build from scratch is one of the best things you can do and best investments to do when you're taking your house off grid. But when someone's in suburbia, that retrofit sometimes be really challenging of what you're limited to, especially in small spaces. So, what's 3 tips, 3 things, 3 priorities to look at, when going off grid? What would your 3 best tips to be to someone?
First, I think you really got to look at the energy you require. Go through everything that you use. Look at your bill. see how many kilowatts you use, work out what you can reduce. Like check your appliances. Are they efficient? And then just check, do you really need to use them? Because, you can really reduce the system that you require. Right? So you can get an efficient system by adjusting your life, habits. And then make sure that you can set a system up so it gets really good sun, because you see a lot of systems set up on the wrong side of the house. Right? Why have you put panels on the wrong side? And you've got to get over the idea that, it doesn't make the house look good because it doesn't fit in with the architecture. That's, to me, that's crazy. And it's almost like being dishonest to yourself. If the panels have to stand up on a rack to get good angles to get the maximum sunlight, you should be proud of that statement. So make sure that you can get enough panels, because you've got to capture that sunlight. And then a battery bank that stands alone, even if you've got a grid switch and you can switch the grid on and off to charge or use extra energy because you've got a special demand, make sure that you've got a battery bank that's big enough to get you through the night time. Don't stress it. Get a good storage system. So you're capturing the energy. Make sure you've got enough storage to get you through the night, or look at your climate and make sure you know how many cloudy days you're likely to have. What are your sunlight hours over the year? You've got to be interested in your local meteorology. Now, we've got the internet today, so you can look all this up. How many cloud days are there? How many sun days are there? That just makes basic mathematics, and it's quite simple. And then, so you've got your system now, right? So you can look at the efficiency of your house. I might be giving you more than 3 tips here, but the insulation of the house, the drafting of this house, the passive solar aspect of the house. So that's all set up. Right? Is my house right? Is my habits right? Are my appliances right? I've got enough panels. I've got enough storage. And then think about what you use and when you use it. Just your daily habits. When you can do washing at different times. You can do things at different times. Think about what you're using and when you're using it. That's all. That's all there is to it. Everything else is easy. The average 9-year-old gets it very, very... They understand it. The young digital experts of our era, they get it easily. So if you've got young kids in the house, get them to manage the solar for you. They have no problems with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Geoff, for your advice and tips, and I hope it can help people out. This Geoff Lawton here has lived 20 years, and I know that Geoff's what inspired me to get in and really push our solar business. I saw a lot of the thing that gripes me with solar is solar panels that only last 4 or 5 years and end up in landfill. So I really want to, make a difference and make sure that people were getting solar panels that were going to last to 25 years and pay back their embodied energy. And that was the important thing for me. And, without coming doing that PDC up here with you, Geoff, I don't think I would have taken that leap of faith and got into a permaculture-based business. So thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining. We appreciate your time and attention. We hope you found this content inspiring and informative. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated with the latest captivating contents. We invite you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and actively engage with our community. Visit theoffgridtribe.com. Together, let's embrace the power of sustainable living and work towards creating a greener, more harmonious future for our planet. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this content with others who are passionate about sustainable living. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to embarking on this incredible journey with you.